Welcome to Hello Port Hueneme. I'm your host Tom Dunn, and we are doing the City Council review. And today I have City Council member Tom Figg with us. Welcome, Tom.
Hey Tom, how you doing?
Okay, can we call this the Tom and Tom show?
The TNT.
Yeah, there you go. The City Council meeting, the first one we're going to discuss was on February the 5th of this year. I was on vacation. I have the agenda, and I'm going to have to rely on Mr. Figg to do all of the talking. Is that a problem?
Well, we'll let the viewers determine that.
Usually I found that's not a problem.
No, I had no problem talking. Just tell me when to stop.
Okay. We'll have I think we have a buzzer set.
3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes. The first thing I have on the agenda is it was announced that there's going to be a concert this summer at Hueneme Beach.
Well, it's sooner than that. It's sometime in the April to May time frame. Snoop Dogg. Apparently, there's a promoter locally who has taken an interest in Port Hueneme and introduced the idea of a concert at the beach featuring Snoop Dogg. And that was that idea was introduced to the council. I think generally the council was receptive, but of course there's a lot of questions. How crowd control, traffic control, those sorts of issues, the logistics. It's a pretty ambitious endeavor to only provide a couple of months' time to really work out those kinds of details, but like I said, I think the council was receptive. Is it, well, we want to hear more, and how are you going to address these kinds of community concerns? So it looks promising.
Is it going to be free, or is there a charge? Do you know yet?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I believe there'll be some sort of admission charge, which always gets a little tricky with the Coastal Commission, because now you're basically restricting access to the beach by virtue of making a charge to be able to access the beach. So I don't have an answer to that question. That's a good one, and we expect to have follow-up details, so that's one to find out. Is this going to be a free concert? I doubt it, because Snoop Dogg does command a pretty good fee for his services. So, anyway, it's this could be the beginning of a new way to take advantage of our beach and have periodic concerts.
The next thing is there is a fundraising, is it a proposal that the City Council and the nonprofit fund REACH are going to do?
Yeah, that was presented that evening. It's a novel idea. It is to purchase bricks in various sizes, various colors, with whatever insignia you want to put on the brick, whether it's to celebrate your family, your business. And then these bricks would be laid in an area very proximate to the entry to the Port Hueneme Pier, so it's all part of the beach. And we had a presentation on the 5th from our city clerk, who has been kind of championing this idea, spent a lot of time and effort, and drawing upon the experience of others that have been successful, like the CB Museum. They have a very nice entry area.
They have hundreds of bricks there.
Hundreds of bricks. So that's the concept, and my understanding is that within a matter of a month or two, they'll start getting the marketing material out, so you'll understand how much your choices, the size of the bricks, how many lines of text can you put on the brick, and the cost associated with that. But it's a great idea. It's just one of many kind of avenues that REACH is going to be pursuing, since it's become kind of reinvigorated. It's been new bylaws have been created, a new board of directors have been appointed, and so there's this new energy to kind of dovetail with the efforts of volunteers that have come forward and, backfilling where the city can no longer do so, like the senior luncheon. So this is just one of many things that you'll see in the future from REACH.
I wasn't there at the meeting. Can you tell us, was there any further development on when and how and that this will get, the wheels rolling?
Well, I mean, first and foremost is that the council adopted a resolution that formally establishes and acknowledges the formation of a community advisory commission. The general time frame is, within a month to month and a half. We're going to be recruiting, or at least letting interested citizens apply to become a member of the commission. And I expect that'll be about a month-long process. So I would hope that sometime in March, probably the latter part of March, that we would then have, a cutoff period on applications, and then each council member will be furnished that list of applicants, interested parties, and each of the council members will have the ability to nominate an individual, subject to the entire council ratifying that nomination. So I'm gonna, like I say, I'm hoping that by certainly April we'll have a constituted board. Right now it's we have the authority, but we don't have a formally appointed board yet. And then once that board has been installed, then they have to develop, as you suggest, different ways of conducting business, bylaws, protocols, the interface with city staff, how each can help the other. So there'll be some logistical things that have to be worked out. So I would expect certainly by mid-part of this year, we're going to have a fully functioning commission to take on, as you suggest, serving as a kind of an intermediary, so to speak, between the council and the community. And then when the council has issues that it wants to vet with the community, and use the advisory commission as a vehicle to do that. So it's been slow in coming. It's been an idea percolating for, as you say, about a year and a half. But all good things take time to come together, and this one has. Well, it's all good stuff. And I think that there has been some criticism in the past that, the city tends to be isolated, or at least the council tends to be not interested or actively promoting community engagement. And here, the last year and a half, we got video, live streaming, and archiving. There's a lot of things that have been done in a relatively short period of time to try to get more public involvement in the affairs of the community. And so, again, this is just another step in that process.
And transparency. Which is
well, that's, sometimes I think terms like that get overused. The reality is we want more communication, we want more public involvement. People need to take a sense of ownership of their community.
Well, the next thing we need to talk about that was on the agenda is the mid-year budget review. And just to let people know, it wasn't about a year ago that the city adopted doing a 2-year budget versus a 1-year budget. And one of the protocols in that was that every 6 months, I believe, you would review and see if anything needed to be adjustment, because things do change, money flow changes, ideas change. So can you tell us what went on?
I think you did a very good description of what the purpose is. A budget on adoption is just a snapshot based on the information, the best available information you have at that time. You make decisions on how to allocate your resources. But it's to be expected that things change, unexpected circumstances arise, additional expenses occur that were not previously programmed. And the good news is that we're on good track with our revenue forecasts. The not so good news, but not surprising, is that we continue to be in a deficit situation, and we're working very hard at trying to close that gap. And so that was, by and large, what this report was just to give us a status report. And no big surprises. There will be additional, more detailed discussion that will occur when we embark on our next year's budget. Yes, we do have a 2-year budget, but 6 months from now, we'll be doing another review as that new budget period begins. And we talked about a number of issues that we would like to have addressed at that time. There's a lot of angst about the concept of unfunded liabilities, and what that is retirement and health benefits that are vested with employees upon retirement, and over time that's an accumulated liability that has to be funded. And the city is taking proactive measures to make certain that at the end of the day we have the money to fulfill the contractual obligations we have to those employees. And so that'll be a point of discussion starting sometime in May and June when the next budget cycle begins. So that was an important issue that we kind of, set the stage for staff to do their homework and be prepared to address those issues as we approach that next budget cycle. There were an assortment of those kinds of issues that we just simply raised to staff and charged them with coming back and providing us with the details so that we can make further adjustments in the budget as necessary starting in the next cycle.
I thought of one other thing I'd like to do in this segment is, can you give us an update on the medical and recreational cannabis situation that's going on in Port Hueneme?
Well, in the past 3 weeks, we've had our first dispensary open for business. That's Freedom First. And they have a dispensary on East Bay Boulevard, just a little bit west of Ventura Road. And they, like any new business, there's always bugs to work out and procedures that need to be adjusted, and they're still in that workout phase. But the owner of that business, I've had some discussion with, and they're very pleased with how receptive the community has been. And it's medicinal only at this point. Remember, this is not recreational. So it's always difficult to be the first one out of the box, and that's exactly what Freedom First. They're the first ones on the block. Now we've got 2 other dispensaries that have received approval. Expect that those will be open within another couple of weeks. Both would be on Channel Islands Boulevard, and we have a number, upwards of 4 to 6 applications that are still in the hopper. So. Clearly, the industry has taken notice of Port Hueneme's receptivity to cannabis, but at this point it's only medicinal. Now the city has authorized recreational, but they will not begin issuing permits for that kind of use until June of this year. And the reason for that is that our chief of police wishes to have a few months of on the street experience with our existing medicinal dispensaries. So if there are issues that arise, whether it be security, hours of operation, what have you, that those issues can now be worked into the conditions of approval for recreational. So it's this, again, an evolutionary process. And he's looking to have this opportunity for a learning period based on medicinal businesses that he can then apply to recreational when that comes to be later this year.